Good morning, this is Miss Saroni. We're going to finish up lesson 23 today. Remember, it is your independent practice. You're on page 218 through page 219. You do need to have these two pages completed before watching the video. Then come back and check to see how well you did on these problems. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Number 1. Elsa went to swim practice after school. She finished at 5:45. Which clock shows the time Elsa finished? Circle the correct answer. Well, I'm going to look at my digital clocks first, which is A and D, because that's easier to read the time. This one says 5:45, and if you notice in the top corner it says AM. Well, it says she went to swim practice after school. After school. So surely after school is not 5:45 in the morning. That's about normally on a regular day when I'd wake up to get ready for school. So it is not A. Our next digital clock, D, shows 5:45 p.m. p.m. means that it is after noon, after 12 o'clock. It is p.m. So this clock shows what time she finished swim practice. Now it says circle all the correct answers, so that must mean that I have one more answer. So now I'm going to look at my analog clocks. B. Okay, this is my hour hand, and if I draw my line, it's not quite on the 6 yet. So we are still in the 5 o'clock hour from here until it gets right on the 6. So this would be 5, and then my minute hand is pointing to the 9. Now remember, we count our minutes by 5s. So this would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Okay, so clock B shows 5:45. Now let's see why clock C would not be correct. If you chose C, this is the small hand is my hour. And this hour is between the 9 and 10. Well, my hour is the first number that is shown when I write the time. And then the minutes are second. So it's not 9 o'clock at night when she finishes swim practice. So that is why C is not the correct answer. All right, I hope y'all got those right. Give yourself a pat on the back if you got B and D as your answer. Number 2. Where does the hour hand point when a clock shows 10:30? Well, I'm going to use my clocks up here to kind of guide me. Now, it wants to know where the hour hand should point when the clock is showing 10:30. Now, as we learned, that as your minute hand moves around, the hour hand slowly moves towards the next hour. So this one only has one correct answer because it says the correct answer. So and we're looking for the hour hand. My hour hand is the short hand on our clock. So should it be at the 6? If my hour hand is here at the 6, is that 10:30? No. That would be 6 o'clock. Okay, so should my hour hand be right at the 10? Okay, if it was 10 o'clock, yes, the hour hand would be directly on the 10. But it is 10:30, which means my hour hand is slowly inching towards the 11 here. So what the answer should be, it should be halfway to the 11 at 10:30. So we're going to say it should be between the 10 and 11. Okay? Because 10 o'clock would be on the 10. 10:30 is halfway around the clock, so it should be halfway to the 11. Number 3. The minute hand on a clock points at the 10. What time could it be? Circle all the correct answers. Okay, guys, that means you have more than one answer here. All right, so I'm going to go look back at my analog clocks for some reference. So number 3 says the minute hand on the clock points at the 10. Remember, the minute hand is this long arm here. So it's saying that this hand is on the 10. So if it's the minute hand, that means we have counted by 5s to get our minutes. So let's count to see how many minutes would be the 10. 5, we're going to start here at 1, 5, count with me, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Okay, so it would have to be a time that had 50 for the minutes. Okay, 10, 10. Okay, would that be 50? No. If I look back up here, 5, 10, my hand would be on the 2. So that is not the correct answer. 450. Yes, that could be one of my times, because if it's on the 10 and it's the minutes, we've counted by 5s, which makes it 50 minutes. Can it be 10:30? No, because if I do 10:30, that would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It would be on the 6. So it can't be 10:30. Okay, would it be 8:50? Once again, it has to be 50. That would be on the 10. And that is correct. So you should have circled B and D for your answer. All right, let's move on to page 219. I hope y'all are doing a great job so far. If you've gotten all those right, give yourself a pat on the back. You're doing great. Excuse me. Dylan, number 4, Dylan finished his afternoon soccer practice at the time shown on the clock at the right. Which clock below shows the time Dylan finished soccer practice? Circle the correct answer. All right, so let's look at our analog clock, which is the one that has the minute hand and the hour hand here. This is an analog clock. So it tells me to circle the correct answer, which means there's only one answer here, about what time this clock shows. Now remember, the hour hand is the small arm here, and the number it points at, that is the number we say. So the hour hand is pointing to the 4. So it's going to be 4 something. Okay, so we're in the 4 o'clock hour. And all my choices, except C, start with 4 o'clock. So I'm going to cross out C. That cannot be my answer because my hour hand is pointing to the 4. So my time has to start with a 4 for 4 o'clock. All right, and it says Dylan finished his afternoon soccer practice. So I'm going to go back and look at my clocks. Well, if it's in the afternoon, if you look at the corner, it says AM. And if you remember, AM means morning or before noon. Okay, so it's in the afternoon, so it can't be before noon, so I'm going to cross off A. So that leaves B and D. Either 4:05 or 4:10. So now I'm going to look at my minute hand. And remember, when we count our minutes, we count by 5s. Yes, we do. Great job. And I start with my 1, so I would go 5. I can't move to the next one because that's not where the minute hand is. So it would be 4:05. which is B. All right, snap your fingers if you got that one right. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Should be ready for the test tomorrow. Okay, number 5. Robin read until 7:35 in the evening. Draw hands on the clock to show that time. Then write the same time on the digital clock. Be sure to circle AM or PM. Well, I'm going to start with my digital clock because it's easier just to write the numbers. All right, so it says it's the evening, okay, which means it's PM. So I'm going to circle PM for the evening. And then I'm going to write 7, and these are my colons. That separates my hour and my minutes. I'm going to write my minutes here, 35. So it is 7:35 p.m. because it's the evening time. Now the hands, they're going to be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to start with my minute hand first because that's going to be the easiest. And I got to count to 35. So once again, I'm going to start at the 1. We're going to count by 5s because it's the minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So 35 minutes would be on the 7. So I'm going to draw my arm. And I want to make it long because it is the minute hand. And it is a little bit longer. Okay. Now, I'm going to have to draw my hour hand, and it is 7:35. But remember what I told you? That the clock starts 7 o'clock. And as the minute hand here slowly goes around the clock, the hour hand inches up towards the next hour. So here, this is halfway through my clock. Okay, if I were to divide my clock in half, it would be here. This would be half my clock. So since the hour hand has gone a little more than halfway, the minute hand has gone a little more than halfway, my hour hand should be about in the middle. So I should have probably made this one a little bit longer, touching the 7. Okay. So my hour hand, I'm going to gauge about halfway, would be about here. And I'm going to make it a little shorter. I know that didn't get quite on the circle. Okay. So you don't want it to be touching 8 o'clock, but you do want it focused about halfway to 8 o'clock there. If you can see, I still have some numbers to go before 8 o'clock. And so by the time this hand gets to here, the 12, then the hour hand will be directly on the 8. All right, that was a little bit tricky to draw. And you can see Mr. Rooney doesn't draw very straight or very well. But I did my best, and that's what I'm asking you to do. All right, let's look at the last question. I hope y'all are getting them all right so far. Number 6. The clock at the right is missing the minute hand. It is either 6:05 or 6:55. Which is correct? And explain how the hour hand can help you know the answer. Well, we've been talking about that today. And if you remember, I told you that when the hour hand is pointed directly at the number, like here, then your minute hand starts here at the 12. Now, it's kind of hard to see without kind of gauging it. So I'm going to take my pencil here, and I'm going to kind of draw a line as straight as I can from this arrow here. Now, if you see my little pencil line, because sometimes it's hard to tell, especially when the minute hand's missing, you will see that it is not quite on the 7, but it is really close to the 7. So if it was 6:05, that means my minute hand would be here, And my hour hand would be closer to the 6 because it just started the 6 o'clock hour. Since my hour hand is really close to the 7, I'm going to say it is 6:55. So I'm going to write 6:55 is correct. Now I would ask you how to explain how I know this answer. Okay, I know this because the hour hand is closest to the 7. So it is almost 7 o'clock. Okay, so 6:55, my minute hand would be here, which means it's just got this little bit to go until it is 7 o'clock. All right, now you should be able to read and write the time. Great job. Clap your hands. Shout out. Woo-woo. Let me show my answer all the way. You have done an awesome job. Remember, tomorrow you only have to take your math test. So enjoy your weekend. And don't forget, Monday is a holiday. So there will be no video lessons on Monday for Memorial Day.